Wish TV, Indiana's only statewide TV news network. News 8 continues now.
The threat of this scene repeating itself prompted English residents to sign petitions asking Indiana and the federal government to pay for relocating the town to this nearby area out of the floodplain.
Whatever happened to English Indiana? For residents, it felt like every 20 years had a 100-year flood. Fed up, they decided to move to higher ground. In 1994, Wish TV checked in on English Indiana, population 614, after a flash flood in 1990. Residents petitioned the state and local government for a change.
Nestled in a valley where three streams merge to form the Little Blue River lies English, Indiana.
It's one of the last old-time towns around.
I remember when it was a little bustling town.
This is small-town life. This is what John Mellencamp talks about with the song, I was born in a small town, you know it. This is what he was talking about.
It was all here. We had everything.
2 or 3 restaurants, theater,
This was a soda shop and the drugstore.
bank on the corner.
You think how much of my past and my memories are located just in this, 1 mile square.
I was used to going downtown about 5 o'clock in the morning and sitting drinking coffee for 2 or 3 hours with the boys and find out all the news and what's going on. But you can't do that anymore, and you miss that.
30 years ago, Wish TV went to English, Indiana for our series Higher Ground. English was a little town on borrowed time.
The beginning of the end for English, Indiana came with the 1979 flood.
We were literally wiped out, but we just swept away and started over again.
It was termed a 100-year flood, and we didn't think it would happen again. And then, of course, in 1990, when it did happen again, there were those who felt that the only way to save the town was to move it.
So that's when they started talking about moving English up on the hill.
We wanted to know what became of English, how the small town on the move fared, so we went back.
I've lived in English for 97 years.
Lyndon Bob Strawberry Roberts has lived through the highs and the lows of the river levels.
There's no more businesses left downtown, and I still live in the old, what they call the old town of English, because the flood would have got another probably 28, 30 feet that got into my basement.
Strawberry lives up on a hill overlooking the old downtown. And since 1994, while many buildings still remain, most have fallen into extreme disrepair, almost a ghost town.
Ghost towns along the highway. So many people used to call this place home.
Today, English, Indiana brings to mind a different John Mellencamp song, Ghost Towns Along the Highway.
I guess folks stay just down the road.
It's just so hard to believe, right? You're driving through town, like Main Street, right? Where, my dad's business was, where everything happened, right? And it's nothing, it's just grass.
5th Street now splits the Lucas Oil Golf Course.
There were beautiful homes along East 5th Street.
4th Street and Hartford Avenue both dead end into that course. Some driveways remain, memories of old front yards.
People like to hear those stories when they come in and play. You couldn't get two totally opposites. We've got a relatively flat front 9 holes that was in the floodplain, and then you come to the back 9 holes, and we've got our elevation changes up here on the hill and things like that. So it's pretty neat in that regard.
If you come to golf in English, that's all you do, because there's really nothing else, not much else there.
2 years ago, Tammy Redding and her husband reformed the English Civic Club after it had disbanded back in 2008. Without it, the town had lost its sense of togetherness, not even putting up community Christmas lights in the winter.
Just demoralized people so much, and so many people left.
People would call me and say, well, Susan, they're going to move the town. It's never going to be the same. And I was the one saying, yes, we're still going to have each other. It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same. But I wonder, I don't know, will it? Will we carve memories out up there like we have carved here? I don't know.
It's very heartbreaking to see that
once booming little town is just completely almost wiped off the map.
Roberta Toby feels like while people everywhere seem less connected than they were before, English feels that just a bit more.
When I lived down there in the 50s and 60s, you knew everybody in town and you didn't see a stranger. Those times are different now.
He even knew the name of their pets.
Yeah.
The Crawford County Library has been rebuilt. It and the nearby county annex serve as an index to the waterlogged history of this town. At the edge of the golf course stands a statue of town founder William Hayden English. During one flood, they say water was up to his knees. Tammy Redding says that there's a plan to move him to where the businesses used to stand, making the old heart of downtown into a plaza. The Civic Club is also planning on salvaging and renovating the old mill, creating a community gathering spot, hoping to draw a community back together.
The town's never coming back the way it was, right? But we could have some things in the old part of town, in the historic part of town, I like to call it.
Ghost towns along the main highway.
And Tammy Redding says the Civic Club has applied for grants to fund their projects, but many of the grants require a monetary match from local organizations, what feels like an impossible feat for less fortunate areas such as Crawford County. You can see all of our 1994 original Higher Ground series along with the rest of our 70th anniversary installments online. Just scan the QR code on your screen. Our Wishtory series celebrating newsworthy moments continues throughout the year.